SAFC Fan TV. It's really good to make it up here in Sunderland again, and bumped into good old Michael, who's suffering
I'm suffering from the flu, so
a lot at the moment.
I haven't shook Jacob's hands, and hopefully not going to give him germs. So apologies in advance.
But I mean, it adds to a lot of worries you have at the moment, definitely, about the team that we've got out there on that pitch at this moment in time.
Don't even get me started. I mean, you probably saw from my video on Tuesday, I was not happy after that game. And I'd like to think I'm one of the most rational people when it comes to Sunderland. I try not to jump on a bandwagon either one way or the other. But Tuesday struck a nerve with me completely. It was absolutely ridiculous.
If you haven't watched the video, guys, honestly, if you talk of passionate football rants, go and check it out. Link in the description. It is absolutely brilliant. It just sums up the frustration amongst our fan base at this moment in time. But I mean, going through that video, what was like running through your mind, like with the emotions after that 2-1 defeat?
Oh god, I think there was I was really I think given the fact Burton won the game, apparently having a good few injuries in their team, and it really, and especially when we took the lead, the one type of defeat I can't stand more than any other is losing from a winning position. I hate it completely. And the fact that we just took the lead and surrendered it straight away, didn't respond after going 2-1 down. And I feel, and I said to you off air when we were walking up here, I feel like there's a good few players in this team that are shirking responsibility, and I felt like I'm going to call some of these players out on it, because I think that was pathetic on Tuesday, not good enough whatsoever. Yeah,
I mean, just it's watching the highlights of that game. It looked like
highlights?
It was like a pretty nothing game from both sets of sides up until like they got the equalising goal, and they looked more pressurising every time they came forward with the ball compared to our attack.
For me, I think that it was a pretty even game. I think we dictated possession quite well up until with the second goal. We didn't actually play too badly in that respect, but I didn't think we were. But certainly, again, once we let in the second goal, Burton were just having it for fun. They were passing, running rings, running triangles around us. We couldn't deal with them, couldn't get anybody. We didn't respond. Like, lads, you're at home. Come on. To expect to beat Burton Albion at home isn't exactly something that's impossible to ask for. Or it shouldn't be deemed that way anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like there's a very cursed situation every time Burton come to our place.
we haven't beaten them yet at home.
No.
In fact, we've only beaten them something like once in the last 5 meetings or whatever it is. We played them. We beat them first time on the Coleman, but we've struggled ever since then.
Yeah, I mean, Boyce, who got the winner for them,
he got the winner that sent us down to League One as well.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like he's just running rings around us every time we come up against him.
It always does, and I'm just thinking, how are we making an average Burton team look absolutely amazing? I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand. And by the way, towards the end, Burton did deserve the victory, but I just couldn't deal with it.
I mean, what was wrong with the way how Parkinson set up his side on Tuesday, do you reckon? I mean, I can understand the changes he did make because they were very much needed, but it felt like the system he was trying to go with just didn't work.
The system. I don't know. Well, I had a couple of conversations with a couple of friends before the game, and I said that the system itself looked like a 4-3-3 at first when I saw the team sheet. But then I looked at it and thought, well, it's not advanced enough to be a 4-3-3. It looked like a 4-2-3-1. And while I understand we can't play another striker with Griggs, I think Griggs only fit one available. But then what are we doing in training then if all these players are getting injured all the time? But apart from that, I don't know. I didn't get what the plan was, and if I don't know, the players aren't going to know either. What was the plan? What was the strategy for them to try and go and beat them?
That's another thing. We don't have a plan B.
I know it looks like it, and every time we just kept hoofing long balls all the time to try and get Will Grigg. Like, as much as I think Will Grigg is one of the players I slated in the video and said no, he's not giving enough here. No. We don't help him at all. No. We never seem to give him the ball to his feet. We never seem to give him service. We always go long ball, and every time he's up against like a shithouse 6 foot centre back.
Am I right? Think look at strikers we've had down. Yeah, some of them have not worked out. But look at when we signed Jermaine Defoe, for example. When Advocat came in, there was times he was even playing him on the left of the front three that we played, and I could tell he was very frustrated in playing there, but he was still tracking back, getting into tackles, showing that he really wants to play for the badge. And it just looking by Griggs' body language, he just doesn't want to do that.
I know, and if he doesn't want to do that, then that's shocking. He should be sold in January for that. You've got to, that's why I said again, a lot of these players have got to remember that this is the biggest club they're arguably going to play for in their whole careers, and they need to go out and showcase that they're happy to be here, because if they don't, sod off, score.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for January to come round the corner now. But when the window opens, like, it's a running battle who we're going to attract to come.
That's the thing, though. I mean, again, it depends. If we're still in touch with this into the playoffs, then I think we could get the right sort of players. And I've said before, I think we need a right back. As everyone's bored to death of me saying, man, I don't rate McLaughlin at all. I think you need a right back. I think you need a winger with pace. I think you need a creative midfielder, and you need a striker who can score goals. If you get them, I think we'll definitely finish in the top 6. But I've kind of right now written off top 2, and if this continues, top 6 is out of the question.
Yeah, considering how Tuesday was the first of our 3 games we have in hand now. Like, now it's going to be a point as the season goes on, we're going to have to rely on results to go in our way.
Yeah, we are, and that's. Oh God! I mean, the fact we're something like 13 or 14 points behind Wycombe Wanderers tells its own story.
Yeah, I mean, another thing that I want to touch on, like Phil Parkinson, the clubs he's been at over the last few years, he's known as like playing a really compact style, like proper, like people tracking their man, and it felt like the game on Tuesday there was just so much space for Burton to play and find room in the box.
If he says that we're compact, then I'm yet to see evidence of that on the pitch. There was a striker called Freddie Ladapo who went to Rotherham. I said he was someone, I think we talked about it in our podcast at the start of the season. And I said that even though he got relegated, the attributes
he scored
he's got
again the other night, didn't he?
Oh, he did, yeah. And well, look at that, Pompey's now overtaken us now. So anyway, when you consider how far behind for us they were a while back, it's something we've allowed them to do that. But Ladapo is someone who's got pace, he's got height, scores different goals, he's got the attributes we need up front, and we didn't bother to go for him. As for Dobson, I mean, look, I like Dobson, but at the same time, it comes like it's from a relegated team's best player. Like, what does that say?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the debate now that should Jack Ross have been sacked. I still stand by that he should have gone.
Yeah,
Reason
I
being
agree.
Why, I know there were financial restrictions in place for who we could bring in the summer, but you look, I think it was 4 out of his 7 signings he made, which I assume he had a say in most of those signings. I mean, if he didn't, then a lot needs to be answered by the board. 4 out of the 7 were defensive signings, and that should have been something to cut out the silly defensive mistakes we were making towards the end of the last campaign. And we look like a team this season that's gone further backwards.
Yeah, we look like a team that's don't address that, have we?
No.
You know, we don't seem to. I don't know what it is. We always seem to sign players that enable us to invite pressure on. You know, it's like, well, we're Sunderland in League One. We should be the ones dictating games to teams, not the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, it's look at the best of the 7. I reckon. I mean, he's got. If we can keep him fit throughout the whole, Jordan Willis.
I agree. I think Willis has been the best of the signings we made in the summer. I think he's looked. He looks assured almost. I mean, I thought he shirked responsibility on Tuesday, but in general, since he's come in, I think he's someone who asserts himself on the ball. He's got pace to track with track attackers.
Leadership skills.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I mean, people have argued there are no leaders in that team, but even when you look at it, relegated player, fair enough. But Dobson was a captain of Walsall, Willis was a captain of Coventry. So there's not really an excuse there for there to not be leaders. They should be the ones doing it for
We've
themselves.
even also hit a goalkeeper situation as well. There's talk of like people are now starting to have a go at Lee Burge for some of the errors he's been making, because obviously John McLaughlin was dropped for that same reason. I mean, you never know, could a third goalkeeper even come in January at this moment?
Maybe, depends.
I mean, I don't want that to happen because I think it will cause a lot of confrontation in the squad, but Parkinson might not even have a choice of it.
Maybe not. I wouldn't be shocked to see John McLaughlin went in January. I think because if this contract thing's gone on far too,
we might not even have a choice, because we might have to get rid to bring people in.
Maybe. I don't know. The only positive I can think of is that in League One you shouldn't need to spend too much money to get top 2 level players. But I just think with McLaughlin, if he's not going to be in the team at the moment and we can't give him a new contract, you might as well try and get a bit of money for him. If we're going to be, is Anthony Patterson good enough, for example, to make the step up to a number 2?
Yeah, I mean, talk of like the recruitment process we had from the beginning of the season leading up to, pre-season leading up to the beginning of the season. Lewis Morgan, who we had on loan last season, he started for Celtic last night. I mean, is that a worry that there was more behind the scenes that went wrong potentially?
Maybe. Yeah. I thought Lewis Morgan when he was here was alright, but I didn't think he did enough considering the pedigree he came from. But like I said, at least he had a bit of pace now and again, which we need a winger with pace. So I don't know. I think, and then the recruitment team, right, have got to be called into question here, because we keep saying over and over and over again what we need. We need this, we need that, we need this and that, and they never get it. They never get it. Why?
Yeah, I mean, let us know in the comments below. There's been recent talk. There's, I think, a poll created by the Sunderland Echo. Do we need a director of football at this moment in time?
It wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm not usually with the director of football system, because you've got to work. Everyone's got to be on the same page for it to work, otherwise it won't. But if there's an overarching direction that the club can go in with a director of football, then God knows what. So maybe that's not a bad shout, but there'd have to be a lot of planning involved, and we'd have to have an identity, a set way how to go about things, and stick to it.
Yeah, I mean, concluding on this video, no game this weekend, which
Thank
is
God.
Yeah, a blessing for this weekend, and Sunderland don't lose a game, which is
yeah.
I'm going
to spend it watching Newcastle Man City probably. So at least Newcastle played a decent team in the Prem.
Let's not touch on them.
Okay, but either way, though, if I'm going to be a delusional optimist, Phil Parkinson has got about 10. Will in total have about 10 days to work with these players, and I hope by Gillingham he's improved something. Anything positive, in a positive mindset, whatever it is, just get something into it. The last question I'll ask you: where do you stand on Parkinson at the minute?
I'd still give him at least. I mean,
it's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, because like there's talk of this. I think this could be the final season in terms of parachute payments to try and get us back up. I mean, are we in the position to get rid of him now, or do we think potentially if we give him till January to bring people that he would want to bring, and that could potentially? But have we got the time?
Yeah, I think we should. I think he should go. And I'm usually the last person to turn on a manager, but I looked at it and just thought the last few games have got progressively worse, and there doesn't seem to be a. Now, if he goes on a winning run, he's bought himself a load of time here. I want him to go. I don't think we'll get rid of him. I think that we'll want to at least give him the January window and see what he can bring in. Yeah. If he can't bring anything in that's adequate enough, then he probably will be.
I'm going to give him till after Christmas, like the January window at least. If it's not working then we may have to look at another direction.
May very well be.
Anyway, I wish you all the best with your current illness at the moment.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Times at this moment in time,
Thanks for watching, everybody, and go and check it. If you want to watch my rant, there you go. It'll be in the description below. So
cheers, guys.
Take care.